Hi everyone, welcome back. It is Mixed Media Friday. I'm just going to take a second and I'm plugging in my phone. Sorry guys, this will just take a second. I think that's plugged in. I hope that's plugged in. Okay. Yeah, we should be good. I'm going to load our comments in our video on my other phone. And I'll wait for everyone to come in. And I'll tag a couple of people. There we go. Hi Lori, thanks for joining, love. I'm just going to quickly tag a couple of people. There we go. Just 1 second. Just tagging. There we go. Hi, Terry. Thanks for joining, sweetie. Hi, Joan. So I'm really excited, guys. We're going to start with the part 2 of our watercolor series tonight. We're going to finish up our journaling cards. And I just wanted to share, this will literally be my last week, hopefully, of using my cell phone. My second cell phone for the comments. I have a new tablet coming. So I'm really excited for that because I spend more time making sure this thing's charged, because literally it dies right after my video, because it's a very old cell phone battery in here. So I'm really excited for that. I have a couple new things this week, and I wanted to share. I have the Distress ink and the Distress Oxide in the new Distress color Uncharted Mariner. So I'm really excited to give these a go. And I just wanted to kind of show you guys. I haven't used them yet. It is a beautiful, beautiful, like a turquoisey kind of color. And if I had to compare it, I would say that it's very similar to the blue in this palette. The, let's see if I can find a name for that. Just so you have a comparison. Oh, my box is right here. Let me see here. My color chart. I hope there's a color chart. Good. Payne's Gray. So this is very similar to Payne's Gray. So I just wanted to share that. And that is this one here in my palette. It is absolutely beautiful. So we will get right into it. And the other new product that I have this week is the new Distress Oxide colors. And the new Distress ink colors, but they're in the Ranger Archival. And this is the new archival sets that Tim came out with in the Distress colors. So I'm really excited because the only ones that I had was a larger palette of the black, the brown, the gray, and the 2 different browns. So that would be Hickory Smoke, Black Soot, Vintage Photo, and Ground Espresso. So those are the ones that I have in the 4 palette. And then I have a regular Ranger Archival Black. So I'm really excited. So these new sets, there's Crackling Campfire, Crushed Olive, Salvaged Patina, Villainous Potion. In the second one, there's Speckled Egg, Evergreen Bow, Wild Honey, and Kitsch Flamingo. And then in the third one, there's Rustic Wilderness Fired Brick Frayed Burlap and Prize Ribbon. So I'm really excited. So as I've mentioned before, these will basically give you, when you stamp, they will give you that archival finish, and then you can go ahead and you can watercolor and you can do mixed media over top. And the other thing I wanted to share with you guys, there's 2 different marker sets that I wanted to pick up. And this one here I've got so far. And I use the Stablio all pencils. And I loved how they play. They're permanent and they go over top of any surface, including glass and metal. And they're very permanent, but they're also, you can use them like watercolor where you can move them around. So I love the pencils, but I wanted, like, for making marks and different things in your mixed media, but I wanted to give the markers a go. So I cannot recommend these enough, guys. I got a set of small. So they didn't really say too much about what size they were. They just, I got them from Amazon for $14.99 for a 10-pack. And I'm really happy with these guys. They're for smooth surfaces, film, glass, metal, etc. So basically, they're a very fine, I'll hold that up so you guys can see. They're a very fine tip marker, and they're permanent. So these are kind of like the same kind of thing like a Ranger Archival ink in terms of how they play. So you could draw and you could sketch and you could do your mixed media over top of it. But the other thing that I wanted to share, like, I have the 2 tags here that I've done. So this one here, I went over top of Seth Apter's Gold Mine. If you guys can see that, that's metallic with mica. So I've actually gone over the mica ink, no problem with these markers. I've gone over gel medium because I did the resist technique with the stencil. So that's how I started these tags, was with gel medium, and then the distress ink doesn't stick to it, and then that's how I've got like that lift technique in behind it. And then I've just added some more some patina in, and I did these with Seth Apter's Coffee, and then I used Broken China Distress Oxide because that kind of pops, right? And then I just wanted to share that I was actually able to go over not only the gel medium, but also the mica. So you'd be able to do the same thing with the Tim Holtz spray stains that are all mica. You'd be able to draw over top of it with these Stablio permanent markers. So I just wanted to share that. And I got them for $14.99 for a 10-pack. So it was decent. And they were pretty quick. I think those were from Amazon Prime. And then you get a 10-pack, so they're going to last me a very long time. So I just wanted to share that. So it's another kind of staple that I'm going to be using now. And there's another set. Once it comes in, I'll share them with you guys, and they're specifically for drawing. And those ones, so these are more of like a mixed media marker, where those ones are going to be better for drawing, and they come in several different sizes. So I'll share those when they come in as well. So I want to get right into this. I just need a paper towel. I have warm water in front of me, and I'm using the same palette that we used last time. I'm using Winsor & Newton watercolor paints. This set wasn't bad, guys. It was $39 from Amazon, and it came with 12 different colors. So we're going to continue off exactly where we left off from last week. So I'm going to pick up a size. I want something a little smaller this time. So I recommended anywhere between an 8 and a 10 brush. But for this next step, I think I'm going to grab a 6. Yeah, 5 is the same as 6. So this is about a size 6 brush. This is the 10. And then this one here. They're 5 and 6, and it's usually increments of 2. So I don't know why they've done it that way, because that would be 10, 8, and 6. So I just wanted to share that. So yeah, either your 8 or your 6, either one. So that's what I'm going to use tonight. Actually, I'm just going to go right for the size 6. So I want to go into my water, and I want to pick up a good amount, and then I want to come onto my paper, my watercolor paper, and I want to put this down where I think I'm going to do my next sort of thing. So I'm going to make a flower here. So I just want to give this a little bit of water in this area, like this. So we're going to play. And these watercolors work the same way like our inks and our oxides work, if you guys can see that. I can go back in and I can lift off ink, or my watercolor paint, just like you can with your inks and oxides. They're never permanent. They're only permanent when they're dry. As soon as you wet them, you're able to go in and move them all around. So I just wanted to share that. So I've gotten that wet. Now I want to come in with, let's go with some yellow. So I have cadmium yellow here. Good, you guys can see my palette. And I can always move this over and move it over so you guys can see better what I'm doing. There we go. That might be better. And I can rest my arm here. So I want to come right in here and I want to pick up lots of pigment. Lots of pigment. And I mentioned if you're using sable brushes, then you're going to be able to pick up more pigment and you'll be able to do the lift technique. So you can lift watercolor paint off your page as you go by adding water with nothing in your brush but water. So here we go. So when I'm doing petals, this is kind of like all in your wrist. So my center point is going to be here. I'll just do that like that so you guys can see. And then I want to hold this at an angle kind of like this. And I'm going to put some pressure down. And I'm going to release. I'm going to put some pressure down. And I'm going to release. I'm going to put some pressure down. And I'm going to release. And I'm just going to keep going with that. And again, I can use my left hand so you guys can see. So I'm not blocking it with my right hand. I am right-handed, but left-hand orientated. I actually broke my arm when I was, I think I was 6 or 7 when I broke my arm on the monkey bars at school. And I learned very quickly, because I was in a cast for about 6 months. I had to learn how to do everything with my left hand. So ever since then, I'm like able to use both. I can't write well with my left hand though, but I can, like if I need to come in to paint different things at weird angles, I can still do that with my left hand. There we go. So now I can kind of pull it out of where I want my flower petals. And I'm just continuing that sort of motion from the center. And I'm pulling and dragging that out. Whoops. See, I picked up some of the green. That's okay. I can embrace that and use that as like a low light. There we go. And just kind of pull it out. Now I'm going to take my heat tool. I have the new Ranger heat tool, so I'm really excited, guys. This is going to be nice and quiet now, so I'm not blasting anyone away with my heat tool. Hi, Jan. Hi, Rita. Hi, Jean. Thanks for joining. I'll just move my watercolors away from that. There we go. So now I can easily dry my layers without making all kinds of racket from my embossing gun. There we go. So I can get that nice and dry, and then we can go in with our next layer. I'll start on this side. There, I'm really happy with that. That's nice and dry. And then I want to add white. So in terms of the center of the flower, things are more darker. So in the center of the flower, things are going to be more yellow, more brown, more vivid, right? And then it gets lighter as the petals go out, because that's just how, in real life, what a flower looks like. So, if we're doing something like daisies, that's kind of the idea behind this, little yellow daisies or white daisies, because they're probably going to be more yellow, I would think. Now I'm going to go into my white, and I am just loading up my brush full of water and pigment. And I don't want to be as wet as I was the first time around. I want to be more controlled, if that makes sense. So I'm getting lots and lots of pigment here. If you guys can see that, I've picked up a lot of pigment. I'm not as wet with water. I have more pigment than water in my brush, if that makes sense. So now what I want to do is come to approximately where I think the center is going to be. So my center is going to be right around here, and then I'm going to add each of the details of my petals in, kind of like this. Okay. Where I'm white around the outside, and then I might have like more color on the inside. Here we go. Kind of like that. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're right at the edge of the page here. And same thing, we're going to kind of come this way and this way. So that's what I like to do. I like to kind of put my colors down first and then start adding the details of my petals and things in. And just kind of play. And it depends on what I'm doing, guys. So, you know, like when it comes to painting flowers and things, I can kind of go on the seat of my pants and kind of say, okay, because we all kind of have an image in our head as to what a flower would look like. So remember, this is kind of like your doodling time too. So things don't have to be perfect, and they don't have to be like completely anatomically correct, like even how I have this here. And I'll show you how to hide that. Because when I finished this one, I was like, oh, that's a hot mess of what my stem looks like. But I can show you kind of like a little trick. Watercolor painting is absolutely forgiving. You don't have to have it perfect. And if you don't like something, you can just keep lifting and adding more pigments and more detail and more things. So as you guys can see, my petals now have a little bit more depth. I still have all the yellows in there, but then when I want to go back to the center, all I have to do is just go right back into my orange, and now I can pick up my center and I can start adding that detail. And for this, I like to do like little dots because it kind of resembles the center of the flower. And then not only is it like a yellow, but then you'd have like, this is a nice light brown here. I think this is burnt umber, because raw umber is really dark. I think this is burnt umber. And then I would just tiny, tiny, tiny little dots. And that's the great thing about the round brush. You're going to get all kinds of different techniques from it. So again, just tiny little dots. There. And that's how you can do some simple flowers, guys. So I just want to bring that up so you can kind of see. And then if you don't like something and you want it more pigmented, you can just keep adding. So, and I do that by just pulling the water out of my brush. So I use less water. And then as you guys can see, I'm picking up more pigment. So if I wanted to add more white in, I use less water in my brush and I get more pigment. So then I can just kind of keep adding, if you guys can see. And I'm also getting like the feeling of petals. Because if you look at a petal, it has all this texture to it, right? So I just feel like if we do it that way, and we just keep adding that little bit of texture, I think it looks more realistic. So that's just a little tip I wanted to share with you guys. And it's okay if you see little brush strokes, because even when you look at the detail of things in nature, it's just amazing. There. So there's a little daisy there. And that's how I've kind of done little buds here too, guys. So I can add some little thistles in if I want to. And these are super fun. And then don't feel like you just have to watercolor paint either, guys. You can always come in with a pencil. And I do that sometimes too. I'll just sit down and I like to do like little random sketches and different things. So I just wanted to share that. So like for a little thistle, I would be just doing something that kind of looks like this. So if you're not comfortable sketching, if you're not comfortable just painting on a flower, give yourself a little preliminary line of where you want things. And then say my thistle's going to come up like this, and then it's going to come up like this, and then it's going to go 2 different ways in the center. I'll show you how to get that. So there, I've just given myself this like little preliminary line so I kind of know where the perspective is and what to expect. So don't feel like you have to be pro where you're going in with no, composition or no frame of reference. So, do this however you guys are comfortable. So like for me, I can kind of, I just like to play, right? And a lot of us do. So absolutely, just pick up your brush and play. And don't worry about the end result either, because if it's not perfect, they make beautiful die cuts. So it really doesn't matter. You could add this, like if you die cut, say, I have them here. It's a perfect example. Tim Holt's butterflies in the his tattered butterflies. So if you don't like it, you could cut butterflies or other flowers out of this sort of image, and then you're going to get like all the different color compositions across your die cuts and your like your flowers or your butterflies. So I just wanted to share that. Don't feel like you can't play because you're worried about making a hot mess. Because it's okay. It's okay to make a mess. And that's the great thing too about watercolor painting, is that if you do make a mess, it's forgiving, and you just have to kind of keep playing with it. So now I've got this really nice purple. I'll show you guys. I just mixed my red and my blue here, and I got a really nice purple. So for a thistle, we're going to want to start dark at the bottom. So that's kind of how I would do this, and like just a motion like this. Yeah, right like that, if you guys can see. And then if I want to come lighter, I can add more red to give that more of a lighter purple hue, almost like a fuchsia kind of. Yeah, I like that. Almost like a fuchsia. But then if I add some cerulean blue, there we go. I'm going to get this really nice purpley color, because it's not as dark as the like the true blue. This is the cerulean blue. It's one of my favorites. And now I'm going to have more of like a lighter purple effect. So now I can really add in my thistle, if you guys can see that. And it's all in your brush strokes of how, yeah, we're going to piece this together like that. And it's going to go off to the side of there. And I want to just give it all that dimension like that. The small little brush strokes like this. And just, there we go, because we don't want it to be perfect. Same with here. There we go. I want it to kind of, there. And then I want to add some green, because thistles have like a little leaf towards the bottom. So I'm just going to grab some green, and then I'm just going to kind of come in here like this. Yep, up like that. Just to give it that little bit of texture. And I can thicken this up a little and just kind of come down like that. There we go. And then I don't even have to make it look like the same thing. There's another little trick, guys. I can make this look like it's in behind whatever this is. So there, I've just added another flower in, almost kind of like we're creating like a little bouquet of them. And then we could add another daisy up here. I've got a little bud there. We could make it look like a flower that hasn't budded yet. So what we can do is we can just add some red, because this could be just about anything. We're not sure what kind of flower this could be, but we can just kind of make it look like it just hasn't bloomed yet. And you can do that just by adding a little pigment in here. If you guys can see that, like a little budded flower. And then we can pull that up. Could be a rose, could be anything. And we'll add some green. Here we go. And we'll just, there we go. We'll just pull it up a little. And again, if you don't like it looking the way it does, like I don't love how my my composition is of the gathered things, then I can just kind of trick it. And just by adding different details, you can take away different boo-boos or mistakes or things that you don't like. So I just wanted to share that. And I can do another one here with that same beautiful pink. So we kind of have continuity as to the flowers that we have going on here. And again, I'm just doing like a little back and forth motion kind of thing. And then we can just have this come down like that. There we go. And I'm thinking to do another daisy right here, just to kind of give it a little something. So again, I'm going to load up my brush with yellow. And we're going to start here. The last one I did on a wet surface. So this one we'll just do quick on a dry surface, because it doesn't need to be as big as the other one. And I don't have to drag the color as far as I did with the other one. There we go. So just kind of like a little composition like that. And again, I'm going to quickly want to heat set that before I bring in the white, or I'm going to just get like a cream color. I'm loving the Ranger heat tool, guys. It's nice and quiet. I can use it without it being too loud. There, and that should only take a second to dry. And then we can come in and we can add our white. Perfect. There we go. Then I'm going to come in with my white. Oh, and I'm just probably going to want to pick up a little bit more. There we go. And then I can come in and make my petals. So then we just kind of do the same kind of thing where we're just kind of outlining. And that's why I love the round brushes, because they, if you guys can see, you get like that perfect composition every time for the petals. There we go. And then just by adding, and I like this one, I'm getting more of a yellow, if you guys can see that. So this one kind of looks more like a yellow daisy. Where I'm just kind of dragging it in. There we go. It's like yellow with that hint of white. And then I'm just going to add some water, and I'm going to go right into my my yellowy orangey color here. And then again, I'm just going to add my center in just by adding some little dots. There we go. And then I'm going to pick up, so I use minimal water, and I'm going to pick up more white because I want to make my flower petals a little bit more vibrant. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. Here we go. I'm just adding that little bit of something. And this one here too, you can go lighter or you can go darker. So now that this one here is completely dry, I can add those fine little details of just the little white dots. If you guys can see that, like towards the top. And I think that one might be still a little bit too wet. So now we'll come in and dry it. So now I'll add my darks once I dry that. There we go. And that's just a tiny little bit of brown right here towards the bottom. So yeah, just right like that. Okay, and now I can come in with my white. So again, minimal water, and I want to pick up, and that's the little trick too. If you feel like you have too much water, just get rid of it on here, like on your paper towel, and then go right into your watercolor paint. And I just kind of do like a little back and forth, or like a little twirling motion just to pick up pigment. And then when I have more pigment and I don't have much water, then you can come back in for those final little touches. Like that. Perfect. And I'll bring this up and I'll show you guys. So I'm really happy with this one and how it's turned out. And the only other thing I would say is my background. So I want to go ahead and add a little bit of this. Is this green? Ooh, wrong color. That's green. We're not any green. Okay, this one's a nice blue. There we go. That's like a nice turquoise blue. And then, yeah, I like that color. There we go. There's my raw umber. And I'm going to kind of mix that one in with raw umber. Here we go. And then I'm going to get like a nice darker kind of grungy. There, I want to add some water to that. And I'm going to get the grungier kind of color here for my background. Just want to add a, there we go. Or we can just add a little darker in. See, that's what I love to do too, guys. If it's not really working and you don't really like something, you can always just add some more colors and pick up some more stuff and see. And I want to see, to me that's not looking right. There we go. Let's get more of a turquoise, and then I can drag this out to make this look like part of the background, if you guys can see that. Because if I can make that look like part of the background, then I can go over that with another kind of color. So just kind of come in between where I've had all this stuff here. Here we go. And then where I have the brown here too. Make it look more turquoise. Just by pulling it in. So if you don't like something, you can always add, and you can just kind of add some detail. There we go. So that kind of takes away from, if you guys can see that, that has taken away from the fact that I didn't like how that stem was. It was too thick. I didn't have the composition correct. So just play with it, guys. Because if there's something that you don't like, you can go back and you can just add some water, pick it up, and change your composition a little bit. And then you can absolutely change it. So for me, I've got that beautiful green right here. So to detail my flower, I'm going to take my green, if you guys can see that, and I'm going to, there we go. So it looks more like now my smaller little stem, and I've kind of blended all that out where I had my my other stem way too big. So just a little trick. And then I can add some small little flowers in here. And I don't have to add too much detail either, because I've got the detail of the big ones towards the top. These can just be like tiny little yellow ones, where we just kind of, maybe little dandelions or something. So that is going to be a super cute little journaling card. And we have, guys, we've watercolor painted it. How pretty. So I'm really happy with that. We've got some foliage going this way, and then you can add some more too, or if I wanted to, actually, I could, I like this purple right here that we have going on. Let's kind of give this a little bit of purple, maybe make it look like lavender, because lavender's got these tiny little seeds. And just by adding that little bit of detail anywhere where we have these little vines here. There we go. Aw, thank you so much, Joan. They are super fun to make. And I hope you guys try this. I hope everyone makes some, because I think it'd be super fun to add these to some Happy Meal. And sorry, guys, I didn't have my Ranger heat tool yet, so it was kind of hard to use the heat gun in between all my stages. So trying to let things dry was kind of impossible. And then same thing, I'm just going to flip it this way. Because I do, guys, I like to work on different angles so I don't smear and smudge that. I'm going to let that one completely dry. So I'm really happy with that. And then we can come right into this one and do the same thing. I'm going to hop right into yellow. So it's just super fun. And again, guys, you use what you have. I'm going to be comparing, because we're going to keep going with the watercolor series for the rest of the summer, probably into the fall. And I'm going to compare different products and the colors and how they basically work the same way. So use what you have, guys. If you have palettes from the dollar store, Walmart, Michaels, this one here is Winsor and Newton. If you're in the States, I know you guys can get Prima and Jane Davenport. So use whatever you have. So I just wanted to share that. So again, guys, we're just going to kind of do the same thing, or we're just going to add some petals in where we kind of feel like we want to add them. So that was kind of my center here that I had started, but we were soaking wet the last time our page was. And I like things to be relatively dry when I'm trying to add in like further detail. Here we go. We can just kind of keep adding our petals in like this. So these are essentially like little daisies that we're doing. So I'll do another one here so you guys can see. And I can even come in with this like lime kind of yellow, which is like a lighter yellow than the cadmium yellow. And then I can just kind of add the lighter in here too before adding white. And then I'm kind of picking up as I go, just to get our colors all in. We can kind of fade it all into the middle. There we go, right like that. So we can kind of still see our center. This is going to be a bigger flower. Okay, and while that's drying, I want to add some more foliage because I feel like it's kind of bare. And we could do some wheat at the top. That would be fun. So I'll show you guys that. So it's the same kind of thing, guys. When we've got like a little thing going, it's kind of like almost like, we'll do it from here. It's got like a brown stem. It comes down and it's got like that, because it's kind of stick-like, right? And then up here, because it's really tall, there we go. It's kind of like little bits and dots. And it kind of goes like this. And we'll give it some more detail too, just to get our little shape going. That's good. I like that. I'm really happy. And then I want to add like a darker brown just for a tiny bit of darker detail. So again, not too much water. And I want to go into raw umber. And you'll find too, guys, between the different color palettes, you have, you'll have like dark browns and light browns and dark blues and light blues and turquoises. So you have similar colors. They might not all be the same true colors to each other, but so where I'm using the darkest brown, use your dark brown. Where I'm using my cadmium green or my cadmium red or my cadmium yellow, use your true and bright colors as well. So you can kind of, and that's what I do too, because I mean, you guys know I love the Distress inks and oxide, so I play with those quite a bit too, and I watercolor with them. So that's kind of one of my favorite things to use. So I just wanted to share, just kind of use what you have. And I'm going to switch back over to the Distress for these ones to show you. Because you guys know me, that's absolutely my thing. So I just wanted to add a little bit of detail, and I'm just going to do like a little pouncing motion, where I'm kind of adding, it looks almost like little seeds, right? Because that's essentially what wheat is, just like seeds. So you have like a light side kind of thing, and you'll have like a darker side depending on where the sun's hitting it. Yeah, kind of like that. And then I'll add some more. Actually, I'll add some white. Yeah, if the sun's coming in the opposite direction, we'll use a little bit of white. And I'll show you guys that. Okay, here we go. And I'm still going to get like a light brown from it. So again, you can use black to darken things, and you can use white to lighten them. So I just wanted to share that. So if you kind of feel like, and acrylic paints, they work the same kind of way. So if you want to tone something down by just adding that little bit of something, I just added some white. So that kind of gave me like an equal composition, if that makes sense. So that's for me adding the white. And I could probably just, yeah, because that's too yellow. I'm just going to go over that just to give it some continuity. There we go. So I've got a little bit of wheat there. Good, that one's nice and dry. Now I can go right in with my yellow. Or not my yellow, sorry, my white. Here we go. Sorry guys that I haven't been live in a while either. Our weather's been horrendous. We've had lots and lots of thunderstorms. And the one day our internet was out, but I think that was across Canada. I'm not on Rogers, but it did affect us because we use our towers here. So I just wanted to share that. I hope everyone's enjoying their summer. I'd like for it to get a little warmer here. It's been relatively cold, and it's been raining a lot. And we've had like our mosquitoes are really bad here this year. There we go. We can just kind of drag and pull our petals kind of in, and then we're creating like a little bit of texture here too. So if you guys can see, as I'm pulling the petals in, I'm pushing the texture kind of out and adding, if you guys can see that, where I'm just kind of pulling and pushing, if that makes sense. There we go. I'm really happy with that so far. And then maybe add some more. I don't even have to do that. We could add, this doesn't have to be a daisy. We could make it a pretty pink flower, where I'm just adding like, here we go guys. And then I just start by adding color. I think that's the best way for me to explain it, just to kind of to do, if that makes sense, and to show you guys. And it's so much fun, and just, you know, play with the different brush strokes too. And that's the whole thing. And I think maybe next week I'm going to go over just, so that we started a project right away. So this is kind of, maybe it might be even intimidating for some, because I know I've been requested to do some very basic things. So what I can do too is just go over the basics of color mixing and how to do all these different brush strokes. So I can do that, and how to use your brush a different way, because it's all in how much water you're using, or how much less water you're using, depending on your contrast between water and color. That's a lot of it too. And then knowing where to position your brush to be able to get the brush strokes that you're looking for, if that makes sense. And there's different brushes too, guys. I'm just using the round ones as kind of like a starting point. And then once we get that color in, see how we're kind of dragging it? And there we go. It's giving us that beautiful, that almost reminds me of yeah, we could just add the little brown things up here, if that makes sense. And right into the center like this. Maybe that wasn't the center, but kind of like that. And that kind of reminds me of maybe too many petals though. Almost like my what on earth are those called? I have them at the front. They're red and they're yellow and they're orange. Snapdragons, I want to say, but I don't think that's what they're called. And there we go. And the other thing you can do too, guys, is pick up a touch of another color and go right into your palette. It is not going to hurt anything. So if you want to because you just add water and it comes right off. So that's the other thing too about your watercolor paints. They're so forgiving. And you can just kind of pick up. See, and I have more pigment than water right now. Yeah, there we go. And then this way. And then again, I went that way. And then I went this way, but I can't do it like from down here because I've got those little thingies in my way from my flower. There we go. And then I got too much white there. I want to pull that kind of in, and I like how yellow that's become. So again, I really like that. And then my flower looks like it's coming from nowhere. So I want to add my little stem in. And again, I love this green. I'm going to mix the two. So I get something a little different. So I've got the light. So I'll move that, guys, so you can see. There we go. I've got the light and I've got the dark here. So I'm just kind of dragging them both together. And then I can add a nice... And that's how you notice, okay, I've got too much water. So then you need some more pigment. So it's a little bit more green. And less water. So again, we just want to dab off our brush and pick up a little bit more. There we go. And again, I could add some foliage on there. And this is a great thing too about your liner brush. You can get that perfect tip just by giving it a flick. So I just wanted to share that. So if you give it a flick, you're going to get the harsh little points on the end of your leaves. So I just wanted to share that. Oh, that's okay, T. Thanks for joining us, honey. What? We are continuing with our watercolor series tonight, and we are getting our again that little flick. There we go. So that's perfect. And then over here we again can add like a thistle, or we can add another kind of thing. So we don't have to get into too much detail. Or actually for this one, let's add something blue. We could just kind of this is the other thing too, just kind of add in different foliage. And again, more purple. I like that. Just to kind of give it a contrast. Here we go. So we got some nice purple flowers. And that's the other thing too. Perception, like depth perception, right? So the things that are closer to you are more bold and vibrant, and the things that are out in the background have less detail. So if I'm doing like a landscape picture and I've got stuff that's in, like at the very front, like I've got, say, a fence post, I'm going to see all the details of the grass and the flowers that are all in front of the fence, and behind the fence, closer to the background, they're going to look like little blobs in a painting. So, and then they're bigger the closer you get to like the front of the painting, and the further you get in, they get smaller and smaller and less detailed. So I just wanted to share that. And that's the composition of a drawing or a painting. So these can kind of be the same thing for us, where they have a little bit of detail, but they don't need much. Because these are kind of off in the background. Like, even when you look at a picture, right? You see some things that are faded off into the back, and then some things that have more detail as they're close. So this is our flower here with the more detail, and even maybe this one here because they're close, and everything else can kind of be faded out kind of into the background. There we go, and I just want to give that some foliage there. And we can do same kind of thing here. Make these ones all smaller. Like that. Give that a little bit more detail here. There we go. And that one here. And I added a little bit of blue there just to give it shadows, right? So sometimes your shadows can have like a blue tint to them, depending on, again, for blue flowers kind of thing. So I just wanted to share that. So that was intentional. And then I'm going to add green. So if you guys can see, that's just going to give it the perception of casting a shadow. So just like that. So they're kind of there in the background, and I can add some more foliage, kind of going here and going there. And then my background. I'm not too worried about that. I could add over here and get some more turquoise, like I kind of did for this one. And just, there we go. And do like a back and forth motion. I really want to pick up more water. So there we go. I can kind of spread it around evenly kind of thing. And again, if you don't like something, you can kind of do a motion like this, where you're picking up your paints or your pigments. And I can add these in here. And then again, just like our Distress inks and oxides, once it's dry, it's permanent until you wet it. And then when you wet it, it's like you can lift it off. You can, as soon as you add water, then you can kind of come back in and play if you want to. So it's not permanent. It only is when dry. There we go. I like that turquoise kind of color. I'm going to add some more blue to it though. There we go. So I'm super happy with that. So we've done essentially 2 watercolored journaling cards. And again, guys, they don't have to be perfect. This is just kind of, you know, a play around with our watercolor paints and our pigments. And then for these ones here, this is the great thing too about stamping. And I might as well just keep using the watercolor just to show you guys. But you can use Distress as well. And this is the great thing too about doing stamping, and I wanted to share. If you're really looking for a starting point, this is where I recommend starting. Because when you are using a stamp, the detail, so you don't have to draw anything. You don't have to really, there we go, guys. You don't have to draw anything. You don't really have to figure anything out. Everything is kind of done for you. So anywhere where you have dark outline, that's where your darks are going to be. And anywhere where you have light, that's where your highlights are going to be. And then you kind of choose where your colors are going to land. So, and again with watercolor, let's start with our lights first. So we're just going to come in and we are going to paint this the same kind of way that I would a drawing, something I drew, something I put on a canvas. And, oops, I grabbed the wrong color. Sorry, guys. I want light, not dark. Yeah, that pretty color here. There we go. So we can kind of pick it up. And again, it's Ranger Archival ink that these were stamped in. So they're very much permanent. So anywhere that we have our lights, this is where we're going to want to put our lighter color. So we can kind of determine what that color is going to be. So we come in and we do all of our lights until then we see that our background's all filled and we have no other spot for the green. And it doesn't matter if you go into where the darks are going to be because it's all going to blend anyways. So this is at the point too where I like to take my brush and I like to come up the stem. So just give it that little bit of to find anywhere where you kind of think that that detail needs to be. There we go. And then I can come in with my darks. So I'm going to come in with that darker green. There we go. I've made like a nice dark green by adding these two together. That turquoise and this bright green are going to give me a nice dark green, if you guys can see. And then I can come in right like this. Oh, I've got a bee in here. Sorry, guys. That scared the daylights out of me. That is not a fly. As long as he doesn't land on me, I'm okay. There we go. And don't feel like you have to stay in the lines either. So then if you guys can see that, I'm just going over literally everywhere where I have dark. There we go. So it just gives it all that definition, if you guys can see, and the depth. And there we go. My husband will have to get a cup and take him outside. He can't stay in here. Alright guys, he's going to end up landing on me. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that for the night. And everyone have a great weekend. And I will see you back. We'll come back on Wednesday and we'll finish this up. And I want to start the other part of the watercolor series on Friday. So yeah, this should probably only take another 10, 15, 20 minutes to finish on Wednesday. So yeah, we'll do that. So everyone have a great weekend, and I will see you back on Wednesday. Thanks everyone. Have a great night. Bye.